Hallo und willkommen. Ich bin Marissa Lynn and you're watching Get Germanized. Today we're gonna do a plain old Q&A with questions that you have asked me.
I am bored. What should I do?
Ich weiß.
Recently on my social media I have asked you to send me questions on Twitter, Facebook, in the community tab, on YouTube, and well, Snapchat, Instagram, everywhere basically. And well, today we're going to answer some of the best questions, or some of them at least. I try to filter them out a little bit, like questions that I've answered a million times already, I try to avoid. But let's get started right away. So first up, a very good question by Matthew Stokes. When speaking or learning a second language, do you translate the words back into your first language in your mind, or do you have to learn to think in the second language? Sorry if that's an odd question. Well, definitely at first I switched back to my own language. I retranslated everything like, oh, that's that, okay. But after a while it just becomes natural to think in the second language and to even talk in the second language at some point, I mean, as it should, right? I catch myself sometimes cursing in English rather than in German, or just saying something in English rather than in German in like daily situations, especially when I'm all by myself. I'm like, oh, that shit crazy, or something like that, I don't know, instead of, oh, das ist ja verrückt. Yeah, I hope that answered the question. Next up, a question by Miss Marissa Lynn. Have you ever had chicken katsu or kalua pork, Hawaiian dishes? And if the answer is no, then why? You're missing out, love, ha 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 ha. Well, I've actually looked up chicken katsu, for example, or chicken katsu probably, and it looks a lot like chicken schnitzel. Basically, that it's probably the same thing, just maybe offered with different sauces. But it looks like the German chicken schnitzel that we get at like fast food places here. So I love that, I like that. I don't eat it that often because obviously the batter and all the fat on the outside is not that healthy. But yeah, and kalua pork looked a lot like pulled pork. Just again, I suppose with different spices and sauces. But I haven't had either of those dishes. So, and the answer why not is because I've never been to Hawaii and I have never seen those dishes in a Hawaiian restaurant. I mean, I don't even know if we have Hawaiian restaurants here in Germany. I've never had it. So that's why. Michelle Bussinger, a Bussinger, wants to know, do you have any pictures of Shari when she was a puppy? It might break the internet if you post them. I haven't looked up any pictures yet. If I do have some, you will see them right now on the screen. And if you do see them, that's probably breaking the internet right now, because she is super cute and she has been super cute as a puppy as well. Next up, a question by R. Custos or Blue Steel Ranger, possibly an odd one, but disabled accessibility and or disability in general. How is it perceived, received or handled by the general public? Are there customs and behaviors that say differ from the US versus American societal norms? I would say it's quite similar. I mean, I don't know the US super well, to be honest, especially not when it comes to that. But we do have a disabled family member. My uncle is in a wheelchair, mentally and physically disabled. My parents look after him, have been looking after him for quite a while now, especially my dad. Since my grandpa died, my uncle has moved in with my parents, and I help out looking after him as well. So I have a special point of view on these things. I suppose I'm not disabled myself, but I have a family member, and so at least a little bit I know about the topics. Well, in Germany we do have a lot of accessibility. When it comes to getting into restaurants, there's often ramps, there's sometimes elevators, but to be honest, since I am not disabled myself, I don't really look out for these things that often, so I should probably at some point talk to a disabled person living in Germany and well, hear their opinion on this whole thing. But to me it seems Germany is okay when it comes to those things, like accessibility at least. And handling disabled people, that might be a different topic, because they are rare still. I mean, you see them every now and then, but the majority is obviously not disabled in Germany, even though some people might disagree. But so I get, for example, the issue, not an issue, but it happened in the past that my friends, they didn't really know what to say to my uncle when they see him, because he obviously doesn't really talk. He just responds to like trigger phrases that he remembers from the past, I guess. And we don't really know how much he still notices and how much he still understands, which is sad. But I have gotten used to this, and I just interact with those key phrases with him, and just just to me it's normal. And they just feeling a bit awkward, I suppose, around him, and they just didn't know what to do or say, which I understand, because if you've never encountered a disabled person, or if you especially never had one in your close family, then you just wouldn't know how to respond, right? And I think also a lot of people, when they see someone in a wheelchair on the street, they like look, but they don't want to look too much. So that's what's going through their heads, right? Even through mine, because it's still like, it's not on the street, you don't see them that often. And so I just want to act normal, but by thinking that you want to act normal, you act different. And they notice that, and I feel bad every time. And I really don't mean it. I just I want to treat them just like a normal person. But by thinking about it too much, we don't. So that's a shame. But other than that, I think disabled people are perceived just as a part of society here in Germany. I don't think there's too much of a problem. I mean, maybe you were thinking about back in the World War II times, obviously. It was majorly different then, but that is not a concern anymore. Don't worry about that. What is Shari's favorite toy? A question by Doreen Farley. She's got this little squeaky piglet, or it does these grunting noises when you squeak it, and it squeals as well. Like, it's a very weird mixture. And she loves that, because she loves everything that makes noise when she bites into it. And she also likes her little ball. Just normal dog things, I believe. So once a subscriber sent this really cool ultrasonic toy, basically this plush animal, and if she bit a bit into it, it would make this ultrasonic sound that only she could hear. So it's very good for people that don't like a lot of noise made from toys and stuff like that, right? But the first thing she did was she dug it up somewhere in the garden, and we never saw it again. And I feel so bad, because it was such a cool toy. But yeah, she does that sometimes. Maybe she thought it was like a treasure and she needs to keep it away from outside influences, I don't know. Joseph Powell wants to know if I speak any other language fluently other than German or English. And no, I do not. I speak bits and pieces here and there of Japanese, of Spanish, of French. I always say this because I haven't really kept on learning as of right now. But I want to get better at Japanese for sure. I mean, it would be cool to speak more languages, but as of right now, I just speak German and English fluently. I'm always super impressed when I hear people say, oh yeah, I speak 6 languages fluently. I mean, probably not to perfection, right? But if you can have conversations in 6 languages. That's impressive, man. That is impressive. International Songs 3 wants to know, what's the most German thing you've ever done? I actually tried to think about this answer, or the answer for this question beforehand, but I couldn't really think of much. I guess very German is that I like to plan out holidays, like on this day we're gonna do that, and then at that time, do we still have time to do something else, and then we go there. Stuff like that I like to do at least a little bit, so that I know that I will experience some cool stuff while I'm out and about. For example, for my upcoming trip to Japan in May next year in 2019, I wrote a list of all the things I want to do. And in Tokyo, for example, this Mario Kart thing through the streets of Tokyo, like you can ride a kart. And I didn't do that last time because I didn't come prepared. So that is super cool. And just writing down stuff like that is pretty German, I think. Other than that, I'm pretty sure my friends from other countries can say more about that, but I can't think of anything because I am German and it's just normal to me. Next up a question by NDiamond04. What Christmas traditions do you have? I actually made an entire video recently about this, so check that out. It's gonna be linked in the video description if I don't forget. If I do forget, just type in well, Get Germanized in Christmas, you should find it probably. Troy N4 wants to know, what kind of car do you drive? I drive a Ford Focus. The best car in the world, obviously. No, if I had the choice of any car, it would probably be a Tesla Model 3 with all the accessories. That would be my dream car at the moment, at least. Christina Lukens wants to know what I look for in a partner, in a romantic relationship partner. Well, really depends. Just someone that has similar interests to mine, I suppose. But I often also hear the phrase, I mean, opposites attract. So just someone that I get along with very well. I mean, to be honest, my honest answer would be similar interests, like a little bit nerdy, cute, if not beautiful, would be nice, obviously. And that's not like the major thing, obviously, but I would be lying if I said like looks don't or are not a deciding factor. They have to look appealing to me, at least. Like, I have heard once from a friend that I have a very specific taste in women, and that might be true. I'm pretty picky, have become very picky, not necessarily for looks only, but just character. I need to have a good character, strong character, someone that you can rely on as well, that they don't only rely on me as a person to like, I don't know, catch them when they're falling into a deep pit or something like that. Or if they're constantly in a dark, deep pit and just need current and constant attention. And if you don't give them the right amount, or if you don't give them exactly what they thought they would get from you, they just get angry or they do crazy shit. Those kind of people, I kind of don't need in my life anymore. I want the next relationship I'm going to have is going to be hopefully a long-lasting relationship built on mutual trust and honesty and just mutual support as well. I don't want a relationship, I mean, obviously a relationship needs to be fun in a way as well. I want to laugh with my partner, I want to have, you know, but just saying, oh, relationship needs to be fun and that's it, that's bullshit. Then you never had a real relationship with anyone. So yeah, that's what I look for in a partner. Next up a question by Vikin Kodjayan, or Kodjayan 3. I know when on Autobahn there is a construction, you slow down, but is there a place on Autobahn where there is speed limit and no construction going on? For example, Autobahn in big cities, I'm sure there is slowing down, but out and about away from big cities, thanks. So we definitely do have speed limits outside of construction sites on the Autobahn. There are areas where you can just put the pedal to the metal and go as fast as you want, but there's also areas where you are only allowed to drive 130 kilometers an hour, for example, or sometimes 100, sometimes even 80 kilometers an hour. It really depends, so keep your eyes open on the Autobahn. Meredith Richardson wants to know, has it snowed where you live yet this year? It has, and it vanished after a day. Or not even a day, a couple of hours. In the morning it snowed and then was gone in the afternoon, which is really sad because it's getting close to Christmas when I record. I'm recording this close to Christmas. So I would really like some white Christmas, but it's very rare these days. Global warming, damn you. And yeah, but it has snowed, even if it was just a little bit. Next up a question by Brana Caro. How long do children get for Christmas break in Germany? Usually I think about 2 weeks, not 14 days precisely. It also depends from state to state, I believe, like how long it is, but about 2 weeks, I would say. Next up a question by DJ Thunderheart. Are you watching more anime, and where did that profile picture come from? On my Discord server. Yeah, join my Discord server, by the way. Link in the video description, like if you're a gamer. It's a Get Germanized community server, so we just talk to each other and post memes and stuff like that. I do watch more anime. I've actually recently came across the Monster anime. It's set in Germany and it's really good. It's like a crime scene thriller kind of thing. Super interesting. The story starts off kind of like, you can kind of see through it. It's kind of disappointing, but they do that on purpose and then build it up insanely well. And so definitely give Monster a chance if you like that kind of anime, similar to like Death Note and stuff like that. Just so far without the supernatural part. But maybe you prefer that, like a real crime scene thriller. I mean, there's a little bit of mystic stuff going on, so who knows? Other than that, I catch up on One Piece every now and then. I still have to finish Naruto Shippuden. I still have to finish the last season of Bleach, or the last episodes. And I just watch good anime whenever I get the chance, like Boku no Hero Academia or Attack on Titan, obviously. All those recent anime I have watched, One Punch Man and Goblin Slayer, for example, I watch as well. So yeah, lots of anime. And the profile picture, you mean the one from Discord, comes from my D&D group, or one of them. Actually, that is my half-elven bard with like these different colored eyes and stuff like that, right? Yeah, that's where that comes from. Next up, a question by my friend Jesselyn, actually. Which Christmas market is your favorite and which one do you want to see one day? So far, my favorite ones have been the one in Hanover, Bremen, and I would say Dortmund, the MPS, the Mittelalterlich Fantasiespektakulum. Actually, I've made an entire video on that Christmas market, so if you want to check that out, it's also going to be linked in the video description. And one that I would love to see one day, I'm not sure if it's any good, probably though the one in Nuremberg. I've never been to Nuremberg, or the one in Heidelberg would be cool probably as well. So yeah. Major Rudolf von Stroheim wants to know, what's your favorite anime of all time? Of all time, it's a very good question. I mean, I had a lot of emotional moments in One Piece. Naruto had some good ones as well. The Studio Ghibli movies I really loved, like Spirited Away and all those. It's a really difficult question to answer. Death Note I really loved as well. That was pretty cool. What's your favorite? Let me know. And of course, how could I forget? Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Mwah. And last but not least, a question by Dina. Since you travel a bunch, what's the best experience you've had in another country? Well, best experience, that's a good question actually. Definitely in Tokyo, just experiencing this completely different culture that you just don't know as a German. I mean, we do know it, but if you've experienced it firsthand, it's a completely different story. It just feels like you're a kid in a candy store, basically. And just the whole trip, I think, was so far my best experience overseas. And just meeting these lovely people every time I go to a new place, regardless of the country. That's probably also my favorite part about traveling, just meeting new people and making memories together. And that is the last question, but if you want to ask me something for another video, feel free to leave the question here in the comments section. I'm gonna pick that up for the next video, filter out the good ones, of course, so make sure it's one I've not answered a million times before. Maybe check my Instagram before, because there I have like a little Q&A highlight section where you can check all the questions, and former Q&A videos you can watch, of course, as well. And apart from that, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to get Germanized. Goodbye and auf Wiedersehen.